538 Politics podcast host Galen Druke for more on this. Galen, I'm so happy to have you here. So, look, we know the 538 national polling average shows Vice President Kamala Harris with this slight lead over Trump. Is that enough to rattle the Trump campaign at all?
Yeah, I don't think either campaign can be confident in its position in the polls right now. So yes, nationally, Harris leads by maybe about 3 points, but the average national polling error in a presidential election is 4 points. So that is well within the historical average error. But of course, elections are not decided on the national level. They're decided in the Electoral College. And if you look at the likeliest tipping point state, which is in fact Pennsylvania, where the debate will be held tomorrow night, Harris only leads by about half a percentage point. And half a percentage point, I don't even think you could call a lead truly. And so when you look at those battleground states, you see an extremely competitive election. In fact, as close as the 2020 and 2016 elections were, the polls at this time in both of those election years were not this close. So this is one of the tightest elections we have seen in a long time at this point in the race.
Oh, that's interesting. So the battlegrounds was sort of my next question there for you, because there has been so much focus on the battlegrounds from both of these campaigns. I mean, even during the Democratic National Convention, Kamala Harris went to Wisconsin, right? I mean, just to show you how important it is. But also, as Sarah Isker just brought up here earlier on the show, the polling didn't change that much, even after the most recent debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. So what are you anticipating seeing? Do you think you'll see that needle move enough after this to really, get out of that margin of error?
I don't think so. But what I will say is that we have some history to guide us here, which is that after the first presidential debate historically, and I think although this is not technically the first of the year, it is the first between Harris and Trump, so I think we can call it the first, the polls nationally move on average 2.5 percentage points. So if they were to move that much in Harris's direction, for example, that would give her a clearer lead. But the caveat there is that there would still be almost 2 months left on the clock until Election Day, and the cycle will continue apace. Lots of other things will happen, and whether that bounce is durable is a real question. And so these debates matter, and they do oftentimes move the polls. I mean, it's hard to make the argument that debates don't matter after Joe Biden literally dropped out as the result of his debate performance. But will whatever bounce happens for either candidate endure, or will other aspects of the campaign trump it?
And just quickly, if we can, Galen, we've been hearing a lot about these issues where Donald Trump is polling better, right? Immigration. But what about some of these kitchen table issues? Do you think those will be addressed during this debate, and will that resonate with voters?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, when you ask Americans first and foremost what matters to them in this election, it's the economy. That's no big surprise. And so both candidates are going to try to position themselves as more likely to enact the policies that will help American families. Now, folks are pretty split on this. When you ask strictly about the economy, who would you prefer? Trump has the advantage by about 10 percentage points. But when you ask a question like, which candidate will enact the kinds of policies that will help you or your family, Harris has the lead there. And so when you look at the issues, it's a little bit muddled. There are areas where Americans clearly prefer Trump, but there are also areas where Americans clearly prefer Harris. And so it's the candidate's job to try to raise the salience of the issues where they are performing the best. And that's what they're going to be doing on stage tomorrow night.
All right, Galen Druke, thanks for being here with us.